Right now at noon, a verdict in the trial of a McDonald County woman charged with murdering her husband.
And we do have a possible severe threat of storms later on this evening.
Plus, college students in Pittsburgh return to campus, helping bring a boom back to local businesses.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
The verdict is in. This is KOAM News at noon. I'm Elise Noe. Jurors in McDonald County, Missouri late yesterday have found Dawn guilty in the shooting death of her husband. Dawn is convicted on both counts, first-degree murder and armed criminal action, for the November 2021 murder of her husband, Harold Wynn. The defense yesterday called witnesses who included detectives and law enforcement officers involved in the case. The defense argued that the initial investigation of this scene included a series of missteps and said there were no fingerprints on the murder weapon. Dawn declined the opportunity to testify in her defense. You can find more details on this case on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's meteorologist Lindsay Gaffney with a look at the first weather.
Well, we still have a couple of heat advisories and even excessive heat warnings for our counties out in Oklahoma, northeast Oklahoma. That's due to heat indices getting up to 105, even reaching 108 in some of those areas. Now, the rest of us are still seeing pretty high temperatures and high humidity today, so you can't rule out heat-related illnesses in the rest of our counties, regardless of having a heat advisory or not. Not to mention, we also have some storms in the forecast. Just ignore all the ground clutter, but right now we're pretty clear. But if you look just west of Wichita, they've got some storms already rolling in and severe thunderstorm watches. We're going to keep an eye on those storms, see if they start to move into our area, but we've got another chance for severe storms later on this evening. We've got a slight risk, level 2 out of 5, and that's happening after about 8 p.m. I'll have more details coming up.
All right, thanks, Lindsay. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, Joplin Fire Station number 4 hosted a wet down ceremony yesterday. The public and city officials turned out for the ceremony, which was the second one in successive weeks. Kids also helped the firefighters get the new engine bright and shiny before pushing it into the bay. The tradition of wetting down a new fire vehicle goes all the way back to the 1800s. Well, thanks to the donation of a local business, first responders at the Fort Scott Fire Department will get some new equipment. It's called the Victim Drag Strap. Now, the strap is meant to be worn by the firefighters and make the job of rescuing a victim from an emergency situation easier. The strap can also be used to help fellow firefighters. Yesterday, the creators of the equipment were able to show the Fort Scott Department how to properly install, clean, and use the strap in a variety of situations.
So we thought this is going to be something that we can do to help our community. And so we donated those straps, and today they're getting trained on how to use them. And it's something I hope they don't ever have to use, but if the need comes, that they'll be prepared.
The department says they will continue training with the strap and will start implementing it. Well, this week, Pitt State students are moving in to kick off the school year, bringing a lot of buzz to local businesses. KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more.
When the students are back, because it revitalizes town every year.
Community leaders are excited to see students streaming back into Pittsburgh, bringing their business and enthusiasm for a new Pitt State school year.
I'm very excited, especially because the atmosphere here is everybody's super close.
We've texted and FaceTimes all over during the summer, but I'm so excited because she's also a graduate assistant at the Center for Reading, so we'll be able to work together.
As the students roll in and their families help with move-in, they're looking to stock up with all the dorm necessities. Walker is stocking up with food from Ron's Supermarket and says the close location is convenient.
I get protein bars, and they sell all sorts of it, so I'll go there all the time, and it's just on the road, so I don't have to drive. I can just walk there.
The walkable distance benefits both students and businesses. Tim Rhodes from Ron's says they hire more employees to prepare for the influx of students.
Parents have to make sure that they've got a full refrigerator and stocked cupboards, so they stop by here and make sure that their kids are eating good.
Pitt State's classes officially start on Monday. Reporting in Pittsburgh, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Well, some local stores like Ron's offer discounts to Pitt State students that show their ID, which is a big help for college students living on limited funds. Yesterday was also move-in day for students at Missouri Southern. There were a number of activities on campus to welcome new students, including a pep rally, convocation, and a campus craze. Officials say the residence halls on campus are at 99% capacity.
Well, I think that you only get to be like a college freshman for once, and so I didn't want to do it online or even hybrid. I wanted to really live here, have really good roommates, make really good memories that I can look back on when I'm older.
Classes at Missouri Southern will also begin on Monday. And residents in Columbus, Kansas know when students are headed back to school, not based on the students entering the school, but the foam exiting the city's fountain. Columbus high school seniors kicked off the school year with the annual foam prank. Now, the yearly prank is a way to launch the new school year with some good, clean fun. Who doesn't love that? Well, coming up, how artificial intelligence could impact this year's election cycle. And later, we're making Louisiana's shrimp bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. Artificial intelligence has skyrocketed in popularity in recent years, but a Pew Research study found 52% of Americans were more concerned than excited in regards to the growing technology. AI is able to generate images, videos, and even audio, but researchers have rising concerns about what AI might be used for this election season. A political science professor at Missouri Southern says there are several examples of the misuse of AI. In February of this year, voters received robocalls with the AI-generated voice of Joe Biden, and some people have questioned whether they can trust that images of campaign rallies are real.
Voters have a hard enough time trying to figure out the information that they need for local, state, and national elections when the information is accurate. And now we're asking folks to have to decipher what is real and what is not.
AI researchers say there are some ways you can help identify if the technology is being used in an image, video, or audio. They recommend looking at the small details of images and videos where AI still commonly warps. In audio, they say you should listen to the vocal inflections, as oftentimes audio will sound robotic if you're listening closely. Vice President Kamala Harris is back on the campaign trail today, laying out her economic ideas in her first policy speech as the head of the Democratic ticket. Former President Donald Trump is already taking shots at the proposals. Natalie Brand has more details from the White House.
With the economy top of mind for voters, Vice President Kamala Harris will outline her proposals to tackle inflation in North Carolina this afternoon, an issue she's begun to address on the campaign trail.
On day one, I will take on price gouging and bring down costs.
Her policy plans include calling for the first ever federal ban on price gouging for food and groceries, new policies to spur home building, offering up to $25,000 for first-time home buyers to use as a down payment, and an expansion of the child tax credit, providing as much as $6,000 to families with newborn children. Her proposals would require congressional approval and already face pushback from some Republicans and mixed reviews by economists.
Why hasn't she done it?
Former President Donald Trump at a news conference Thursday blamed Harris and Democratic legislation for rising costs.
She cast the tie-breaking votes that caused record inflation. She cast the votes. She's trying to blame Biden, as you know. So it was Biden, but I'm going to do a better job. But it was her.
Trump also released financial disclosures Thursday, revealing that his biggest source of income remains his real estate. The documents also show his stock shares of Trump's Truth Social media company are estimated to be worth around $2.7 billion at the stock's current price. He's also invested between $1 and $5 million in cryptocurrency, and he owes more than $100 million in liabilities from bonds connected to 3 civil court cases he lost in New York. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
Still to come on KOAM News at noon, Mr. Food.
We have just a way to get out of the dinner time rut. It's quick, easy, and boy, is it ever tasty.
Plus, we've got a chance for severe storms later on this evening. We'll talk about that right after the break. Well, we do have a potential for some storms later on this evening, but until then, it's going to be hot and muggy. We'll go ahead and take a look outside downtown Joplin. You can see clear skies for the remainder of the day until, like I said, those storms start to roll in. We do have heat advisories and excessive heat warnings in our counties out in northeast Oklahoma and Benton County as well out in Arkansas. So those are due to heat indices getting up to 105 all the way to 108. The rest of us still seeing pretty high heat index values and high temperatures for the day, up to upper 90s across the region. Now, we don't have heat advisories for any of our central counties or northern counties, but it still could be pretty hot, pretty muggy today. So just take extra precautions when being outside. We're clear right now. We're going to start to see a few clouds rolling into those western counties. And as you can see, a few storms have already started to fire up just west of Wichita. Now, you can see the northern part of that storm is going to be continuing to move into our area later on this afternoon. And then we're going to see storms firing up in the overnight hours. We've got elevated risk for hail, and you can see where those dashed lines are. That's a significant area, so we've got that hatch zone for hail development. Hail getting up to about an inch, maybe as high as or as large as an inch and a half. We also have wind threat, elevated risk as well, winds gusting up to 60 to 65 miles per hour. So we'll go ahead and look at the future track. You can see the top portion of the storm we saw on the radar pushing into the central or the northern counties about 6:30 today. Not a severe threat just yet, but you can start to see how they're firing up a little stronger as we get later into the evening. This is about 11 p.m. and then continuing to push in. We're going to see a higher threat for that severe threshold a little bit later after midnight, 1:30, 2 a.m. You can see the storms and the frontal boundary pushing in. Scattered thunderstorms for the rest of the overnight hours until about 3 a.m. and then they're going to start to shift further south, clearing finally out of our area by about 7 to 8 a.m., completely out by 10 a.m. And then we're going to have a relatively cool day tomorrow. It is a frontal boundary moving in, so we're seeing a drop in temperatures, high only getting up to the low 90s. We've got another low threat for severe weather again Saturday night, but as you can see, mostly for the east out near Springfield, not quite near our area, but you can see a few isolated storms just outside. So we'll keep an eye on that, make sure it doesn't move into our area. And then we've also got another threat for storms on Sunday. And you can see early in the morning, mostly just in our southern and southeastern counties is where we're seeing most of those storms develop. Now we're still a couple days out from that, so we're going to focus on storms tonight. We got that slight risk, level 2 out of 5 for those evening thunderstorms continuing all the way until early morning on Saturday. And then we've got another possible risk for storms tomorrow night, but a drop in temperatures. So we're seeing about average and a little bit below average temperatures for the rest of the weekend and into early next week.
Alrighty, well, I know we need rain. I don't really like how severe, the potential severity of it, but I guess we'll take it.
It just, normally it's pretty early to start seeing some of these storms firing up as much as they are, but we had a couple months break there from the severe weather. So I'm going to be thankful for that. But yeah, definitely always take precautions.
Yes, absolutely. Important reminder. Thanks, Lindsay. Well, a cup of coffee for a good cause. Today, the Human Bean in Joplin will donate $1 from every drink sold to Crosslines Ministries. It's an organization that provides emergency services in the community. If you're wanting to quench your thirst, you can grab something to drink from now until 8 p.m. this evening. Well, stick around. We're making Louisiana shrimp bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. We'll be right back. Howard is showing us how to make Louisiana shrimp bake in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
One of the things we get requests for more than anything else is for dinner ideas that help us get out of that supper time rut. And yes, We all get stuck in it every now and then. Besides looking for something different, we want something that's quick and easy. Here's the perfect idea to get you started. We begin by placing a single layer of large raw shrimp in a baking dish. Then we set it aside for a sec while we mix together a stick of melted butter, some Worcestershire sauce, a bit of minced garlic, ground red pepper, chili powder, and a bit of salt and pepper. We pour this over our shrimp before popping it into a very hot oven. While that roasts, we can whip up some rice to serve this over, and dinner is done. Since this is roasted with lots of spices, instead of being sauteed, we end up with a really rich flavor. To get the recipe for our Louisiana shrimp bake, which has the most incredible buttery sauce you've ever tasted, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a buttery Nolan's kind of way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
You can, of course, find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. Now here's a look at the 4-state market prices.
Well, we've got severe storm potential tonight starting as early as 6 p.m., but the severe threat really holding off until closer to midnight in the overnight hours. Those storms continue into early Saturday morning. A couple more chances of rain in the forecast, but we also have a cool down for the weekend and early start to the week.
Well, you know, a cool down is always nice, but I'm looking forward to next week. That looks really nice.
But it's going to be in the 90s.
But I mean, low 90s is just fine for August.
You know,
I feel like.
that's true. But
Yeah.
my favorite is sunny and 75. That's perfect for me.
Yeah, that is perfect. All right,
I want.
thanks, Lindsay. Well, coming up tonight at 5, the use of weight loss drugs has boomed in recent years, but off-brand compounded versions of the medications are also growing fast, and with them, the chance of complications. We'll take a look at how the FDA is now warning about overdoses. Plus, McDonald County High School welcomes the Freshman Academy ahead of the first day of classes. And Miami High School receives a grant to develop aviation and aerospace programs. You can join us for those stories and more on KOAM News at 5. And that's the news for now. Thank you for joining us on KOAM News at noon. Have a great rest of your day.